Morning all, hope you're doing okay. I'm doing all right because today I'm over in Germany at the legendary Mary and Joe pool. This is the venue that I've done quite a few different vlogs on over the last few years. It's also a very legendary lake amongst global carp anglers because it gets its name from two really big fish that used to live in here about 20 odd years ago. One was called Mary, that was a big common. Ended up being the biggest common in the world at the time, about 94, 95 pounds. And the other one was Joe, which was a mirror that weighed about mid-70s, upper 70s, something like that. Now, both of those two fish are long gone. How I would love to have been a member of this lake 20 years ago fishing for carp like that, but there still are some fantastic fish in here. And I'm here today for, how many days I've got on here? About 5 days. So it's a really short trip for me on this occasion because I'm over in Germany fishing somewhere else, which I'll be going to in a few days' time. But for the time being, what I thought I'd do is give you a little walk around this lake, because although I've done quite a few different vlogs on this venue, I've never actually walked you around it and shown you the different swims. And generally I tend to fish the same 2 or 3 swims, so you see the same swims in a lot of my vlogs. And there's a lot more other swims on this lake and a lot more to this venue than what I've shown just in my vlogs. So let's start off where I am, which is on First Point. Now this particular spot has featured a lot in my vlogs, so you might recognise it. So I'll just turn it round and show you that swim. I don't think there's anybody fishing today. I think there's only me on here. There could be one other person, which I think might be Emir Caro, who is a really famous carp angler on the global scene, who's caught a lot of big fish. Now this is First Point. This is the area that I've done a lot of vlogs in. It's all been cut back recently. I think they've had a bit of a work party and they've cut a lot of the sort of overhanging trees back, which has made this swim a little bit more exposed, which, although it might look good, but when it starts to be sunny, it is a real hot spot. It's a horrible place to be exposed to because the temperatures in Germany, as we all know, they can get to 40 degrees on a regular basis. But yeah, this spot is a really good area for big fish. It's known for doing a lot of big fish. Now the area that you're looking at the moment is called the Old Lake. This is where the original part of the lake used to be. It's really deep out in the middle there, out in this sort of area here. It drops down to about 45 foot in places, probably even deeper than that. It's a real abyss, and you often see a lot of the fish just circling on the top in that area out there. It's a little bit of a safe haven for them. The reason this swim does get a lot of attention is because what you've got around here to the left is you've got this channel down here that cuts through into the new part of the lake. But this area is a really good area. It's got a lot of gravel out in front, it's got a lot of weed in front as well. I actually did a vlog on this swim a couple of years ago about weed fishing, and it was just an absolute carpet of weed out in front. But the carp absolutely love it because as they're patrolling from the old lake into the new lake, obviously when you've got your baits in place, there's always going to be a good chance that they're going to come across it. Anyway, I've done a lot on that swim, so let's go to the next side. They call the swim that I've just come out of First Point right side, but this area here, which is First Point left side, is another good area as well. This particular area has done quite a lot of big fish over the years that I've been coming down here. I've never really done much time in it myself though, and over the years it has done Mr. P, which is the biggest fish in the lake, around about 80 pounds. We did I think I featured one of the guys, Sven, in here as well a few years ago with a nice 50-pound common. It does do a lot of decent fish on that far side over there, but there's the cut through, there's the channel that runs through to the right side of the point, and then you've got all of this area out here to the left. Now the area to the left, that's called the U, but we'll take a look at that last because that's where I'm actually fishing at the moment, and we'll finish off showing you that area. But there's loads of good area out in front of here. There's a lot of weed out in front of here, but you've got a lot of nice clear areas as well. And the fish obviously just patrol, especially along that far margin over there as they go up and down the lake. That is known as the motorway for the lake basically. The fish use it as their patrol route. They go up and down that margin, and obviously if you've got baits somewhere around that area, you've got a good chance of catching 1 or 2. But anyway, let's come out of this swim and we'll just come up the steps and I'll take you to another couple of areas just through here. You've got a couple of really big pylons on First Point. You've got that one there, and then you've got another one over here as well. And believe me, we get some serious storms in this area, and I've been on the lake when both of these pylons have been struck, and when you're fishing not too far away from it, it is a right row. Right, this is the next area I want to show you, and this is a lovely looking area. There's a couple of swims down here which are really nice, one especially because it offers a lot of cover, which is here to the right under this tree. You've got a lovely cut out swim at the back here, lots of shade, which is perfect for the summer months, and then you've got your swim down here in the front. Now this particular swim, when I first came to the lake, Frank Schmidt was fishing in here, big fish angler Frank, and he's managed to catch a lot of big carp in this area. What you've basically got is, let me just get down here, you've got a lot of weed around the margin area, which runs round to the right here. You've got a bay round to the right, you've got a lot of clear areas. You might just be able to see a big clear area out there to the right, just behind that swan, and there's a lot of gravel spots out in front here as well, which you've got some really nice features around them, like lots of weed, and there's a couple of sunken snags out there as well, which you can't see at the minute because the water level's quite high. But this area is a really good big fish area. Frank has had a lot of big fish out of here. I've seen him catch Mr. P out of here. I've seen him catch black spot. He's also caught the doctor fish during COVID, which is no longer with us. Used to be one of the biggest fish in the lake, about 85 pounds, a mega carp. It's the one that I found dead a few years ago on my first ever visit to the water. And then next door you've got this swim. You've basically got a lot of deep water out here, and then the marginal area you've got a lot of weed that's top to bottom. At the moment you can't see because there's a bit of a ripple on the water, but there's some real long depths of weed out here which can make landing fish really, really problematic. But you've also got a nice little margin down to the left here as well. So a nice looking area. For once the swims are looking nice and clean, because you often get a lot of public walking around this lake, and you know what the public are like. They leave litter, and you often see a lot of human waste in some of the swims as well, which is not nice at all. Right, let's carry on round. Right, which way should we go? Right or left? We'll go right, down this path here. This particular lake lies in a bit of a public park area, so you get a lot of cyclists, you get a lot of runners, dog walkers especially. There's loads of them, especially on a nice summer's day, and in the evening as well. There's a lot of Eastern Europeans around this area as well. You often come across Romanians and Polish, some Czech guys as well. It's a bit of a multicultural area. Right, this bank down here is really overgrown. This is the area known as the U, just to the right here, but we'll look at that in a short while, because that's the area that I'm fishing at the moment, and there's a lot of weed in that area. Now there used to be a swim down here to the right, but I think that one's a bit overgrown and not really used nowadays. I think they just use it more as a baiting up area than anything. And then you come to one swim down here to the right. I think this was fished last night. There was a guy, I think it was Emir Caro, whose car was here, and Emir's caught an awful lot of big fish from Germany. I think he was the first guy to catch 80 pounders from 3 different waters in Germany. And this is a really nice swim, and I believe that this year this has been fished quite a lot, because a lot of the carp in the lake have been hanging out just in front of a snag to the left, which is quite unusual for this lake. It's not known as a main feature. That snag isn't over there, but this year, I think it fell in last year, that tree, and this year there's been a lot of carp sightings over there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more. There you go. But you've basically got, again, like you have most of the lake, you've got this shallower margin, and then you've got this deeper water out in the middle. But the margins around here is really, really sexy. There's a lot of weed around here. I've never fished this particular area myself. You can see around here to the left, there's a lot of these big, very noticeable reed beds all the way around the margins. These are really, really nice to look at. I remember when I used to read about this lake in the English magazines. There was pictures of Mary and Joe with these massive reeds behind them, and they really are a nice feature on this water. Right, let's carry around. The next area is called Second Point, which is down here to the right. This is the area that I fished when I first came to the lake. If you've watched a lot of my vlogs, you might recall myself and Christian Finkelder fishing in this area. And again, we've got a big pylon on here. This is second point. Seen of a lot of big fish captures whilst I've been a member. Seen a lot of different fish getting caught from around here. But you tend to see a lot of swimmers and bathers in this area. A lot of people having little parties at the weekend as well. So it's not an area that I like to fish that much, if I'm honest. Right. There you go. This is point swim, and then you've got the U to the right there. That's the bay to the right. You can just see my gear over there in the distance, which I'll come back to later on. This particular swim's got two areas that you can fish. You've got this bit here, which a lot of guys tend to fish, either open water, which is a nice patrol route for the fish, or across to the far bank over there, where again they patrol. You can also put a rod down here to the right as well, which is just off that snag I was looking at in the last swim. Nice area. You've also got another section around here. Ooh, I think the climb up here. This is a nice little secretive tucked away swim. Hasn't got a name. Point left side. Doesn't get fished much, as you can see. But there's some good spots out here. You've got a little snag round to the left here. Just round here to the left, where I have seen a lot of fish down here over the years. When I first started to fish the lake, there was an awful lot of fish down here, but since that particular trip I haven't really seen many carp. I saw one down here the other day, about 15 kilos, and it's a bit of a dead spot though. You would think that a snag like that would have loads of carp around it, but it doesn't tend to get many for some reason. I don't know why. Now there are two other swims to the right as well, which are worth looking at. You got this area here to the right. This doesn't really get fished because you'd have to bivvy up on the top bank, I think, to fish here, but you get a lot of swimmers in this area, but the carp do like it around here. Just going to put my Polaroids on, see if I can see anything. Bit of a drop down here, the area that people tend to let their dogs run loose. You often see people chucking sticks in here, and a few swimmers around here as well. But just through here is that snag that I was talking about. And the first time I came here, when I was here with Christian Finkelder, there was a lot of carp in here. And there's a lot of nice clear areas in here as well. But at the moment you can't see it, but there's loads of weed about. Nothing clear at all. But I did see a carp. You just keep your voice down. I did see a carp in here on that clear spot the other day, which was about 15 kilos. Let me see if you can, if I put my Polaroids over the lens, let me see if you can see. There's nothing down there at the minute, but there might be at some stage during the next couple of days, because it is due to get warm. Right, nothing there. It's nice walking around a lake when there's no one else fishing, especially when I'm doing a lake walk like this, because I can just walk into all the swims and show you them, rather than disturbing the local lads. Right, this is the swim that I fished the first trip I did on the lake. It's also the same area that I fished at the start of last year's vlog when I had a nice 53 common out of here. Although it's exposed, you can see it's exposed, it doesn't get the sun because it rises sort of over, where am I looking here? Over here. As it comes up, it sort of stays behind the trees all day. It's only till about 2 o'clock when you start to get a bit, as it gets to about there, But it is a nice swim. This is the beach area just opposite me there, and this swim, you might remember last year I had a 50 common from over here to the left, and you often see a few fish in that bush over there to the left. But this year, since I've been down here now for 3 days, and I've not seen any fish in this area. But this area is really good. You've got an area called Poachers Plateau out here to the right. You've also got the opportunity of fishing across to those reeds over there. Just off those reeds, it's where you can see the weed at the minute, it's about 4 foot, but there's a lot of weed below there. But if you come another rod length out, it then drops to about 8 foot, and it's really clear. Let's head round to the right, and that'll take us to an area called the beach, which I've never fished. And the reason I've never fished it is because you tend to get a lot of dog walkers around there, a lot of members of the public walking, and just like to hide away. I do prefer to be in an area that's nice and quiet. There is a little tucked away area in here as well, which is good for a day session. I have caught some fish out there. They're normally in quite close, but this year they've opened it up a bit. There used to be reeds all the way across the front of here, and the carp got in right close. But they've opened it up since they've done a work party. And when I came down here the other day, there was not a sign of a fish. And it doesn't look like there's any signs today either. But they're normally just down here off this snag here, to the right here. They're normally down here. You see them sort of patrolling along this weed, but there's nothing. That's a view down towards the beach. You've got the beach around there to the left, and we'll head round there now. You can just see the rest of the park. There's a local council doing a bit of work, a lot of cyclists over there as well. It's a nice area. On a warm sunny day, this area is just chocker with people, which is one of the reasons why I don't fish it, because it's just, they're paddling in and out of here, they're in and out your lines, the dogs are coming down here and stuff, so I'd rather just stay away from it and fish the other side. I think the Mr. P was caught from here either last autumn or the autumn before, can't remember, so it does do big fish. And the next swim we come to is one that I have fished a lot, done a bit of time in there, and it is a nice area as well. And what do they call it? I think they call it just the beach as well. Everything that I'm talking about now, I'm going through references with Nermin, who's one of my best mates over here, proper good bloke, Nermin. He's featured in my vlogs, caught loads of big fish, one of the most successful big carp anglers in Germany, and he speaks perfect English and he tells me what the names of the swims are, but obviously there's a translation difference as well, because he's telling me in English. Some of the names are in German, but most of them are just in English. There's probably a bit more local, a few more local names than the ones I'm using. Obviously got a busy motorway around here to the left, which can be a bit noisy, but it's not as noisy as the other end of the lake, which I'll tell you about in a minute, because there's a train down that end and it's real noisy. Right, this is the beach swim that I fished quite a lot over the years. You bivvy up at the top of the bank, which is here, and then you have your rods down here, down this little area of steps. And this is the same area that Christian Finkelder fished in that first vlog when that tree fell on him. You might remember that. And he caught a fish about 57, 58 pounds. That's the swim that I was in on the first ever vlog I did on the lake. Then you've got the beach swim, which was just over here to the right. Let me see if I can get my finger in the right place. That's about there. But all of this margin round here to the right is a lovely feature. You've got a fallen tree round there to the right, which does hold the fish on the right day. Summer's days I've been right at the back of that tree, and you can look down and see these huge carp just basking there, but you cannot get a bait to them. You've just basically got to wade out here as far out as you can. It's a little bit deep at the minute, and then just cast round to the right, which is where the beach is. And out here in front, it's really deep. You've got an area called the Platz Plateau around here to the left as well, which is a good spot. But mostly fishing is done towards that right side over there, towards the beach area, where on a nice sunny day, if you put a drone up or if you climb the trees, you see them just basking along that margin. It's a lovely area around there. You can see how steep these steps are though. So running to your rods in the dark is sometimes a little bit hairy. Right, let's carry on round. Don't know what's happened there. Looks like a bit of soil that's washed in off the motorway, or a bit of muck. Now the next swim is called Spoombound, if that's the right pronunciation. Not sure if I've said that right. I don't speak any German at all myself, which I should do really, because I've been coming to this lake now for about 5 years. When I was at school I took the French option, and obviously that's where I do most of me overseas fishing. But this is a good area, real good swim. I caught a lot of decent fish out of here. Nice and overgrown, although it is a bit exposed on a sunny day because you've only got that tree protecting you. But this area is good, close in. You've got a few good spots, probably, I don't know, 20 yards out, where it's nice and clear, drops down to deep water. You've got about 16 foot, 17 foot water there. The fish just patrol up and down these margins here, but you can see just in front how much weed there is. There's a lot of weed out here. That weed's in 11, 12 foot water, so it's really, really tricky to fish amongst. And you get the carp coming along these margins, which are absolutely beautiful. They really are. So the key is to just sit back, be as quiet as you possibly can, and just fish just under the rod tips. Although I have caught fish from that far margin over there, casting across to there, where there was an awful lot of fish down this end of the lake. But at the moment, I think most of them are just hidden away in the weed in the old lake, because whilst I've been here for 3 days, I've not seen anything in the new lake, apart from one fish which was in that snag, which was about 15 kilos, 15, 20 kilos, something like that. But I have seen some big ones topping in the old lake, so, and in the EU area, which is where I'm bivvied up. But this is a nice area to bivvy up on this bank, because a lot of the fishing is done just under your rod tips. It's also nice and overgrown down here as well. You've got a lot of overhanging bushes and trees which give you a lot of cover. Next swim along is where Nermin caught a 20 kilo common on my second vlog. Don't know the name of this swim though. I'm sure he'll tell me what it is next time I see him. But this is a nice area. They're all nice swims. You can see that on this lake. There's some lovely looking tucked away areas. Nice and overgrown in here as well. Look at that. Got to tuck your bivvy right to the back there. There's some bog paper down there. Oh, it's the horriblest thing about this place is the non-anglers, the public, they all come into these swims and just leave the litter. But Nermin caught his fish just off the edge of these reeds down here to the right. And I think it was about now actually. No, it's the 6th of June when he caught that. That's right, it's the 5th of June today. There you go, 5th of June, 11:08. There's the U opposite. And I also caught, during a winter trip down here, I caught £50 common out of this swim. Dear, I forgot about that one, which was just round here to the left. £50 8 or £50 10, I can't remember. It's called the black common. Beautiful fish. It's in one of my vlogs. Lovely carp. It's no longer with us though, that fish. It passed away last year, which is unfortunate, because that was a real stunning fish. Right, so heading right then. Start to come to some of the more named swims down this area, because they're in the old lake, and that's the area where most of the fish tend to hang out. That's the area that a lot of the originals tend to be, in the old lake. Didn't know that. This looks like there's a swim in here as well. Yeah, there is. God, this weren't here last year. This has been recently cleaned out. I didn't know about this one. Obviously, bivvied up at the back here. This looks really nice. A lot of shade. This was overgrown last year and the year before. You often see a lot of swims on this lake overgrown. But this looks a nice area, yeah, cool. Just fishing right in front. Yeah, never even seen this swim. This has always been overgrown. They've had a work party recently and they've obviously cleared everything out. This is a lovely looking area. Good area as well, that is. The best thing about it though is there, that you can be shaded all the time from the sun, because it's horrible in the summer months on this place. It really is. It's the hardest part about fishing it. But it's a good time of the year to be here in the summer. In June, I've caught a lot of decent fish. That's why I come here every year. And at the moment, I don't think the fish have spawned, so they could still be at decent weights. If you catch it about right when they've just spawned, you get really hungry, and that's when I have caught a lot of good fish from here. One session I did about 10 fish from here in a 2-week period, which is, believe me, honestly, it's not an easy lake, this place isn't. All I ever want to do when I come here is just to catch a fish. That's my target, is just to get one bite, because it really is not easy. It's not an easy water, although there is quite a lot of carp in here. But it ain't easy to catch because it's very pressured. Regular anglers on here all the time. At the moment it's very quiet, which is perfect for doing a walk around. Right, this next swim is directly opposite first point, which, let me just see, there's nobody in here, which, you know, the swim that I first started off talking about. And I remember one time I was fishing in first point and some guy rocked up and fished in here. There's first point just there. It's very, very close. Now you're fishing from first point, you're fishing just out into this open water out here. So when I saw somebody set up in here, I was like, that's a bit close. You wouldn't want to do that, fish so close to somebody. But all he did is he dropped his rods really close in just down here. And you can just see down there, let me put that lens on, you can see there's a big clear area in the margins down there. And he went and caught one of the best carp in the lake from there. A fish which is called Beauty, and I think it weighs 32 kilos. Absolutely magnificent fish. That clear area looks absolutely prime as well down there. So he made me eat my words when I was saying, what are you doing fishing that close to me? He went and caught one of the best fish in the lake, and I think he only did a night as well. I have fished in here myself on one occasion in the winter. Followed a guy called Marco in there, and Marco had caught some nice fish. But lovely area. So we're going to go right again out of here. This next swim is where, if you saw my vlogs last year, Stephen caught Mr. P out of here last year. It finished the vlog last year, I think it weighed about 77 pounds, something like that. Really tight swim. And all he did was catch it just a few rod lengths out, nice and close in. I said earlier on about this side of the lake being the patrol route for the fish up and down this margin, and that's all you basically do is just fish a few rod lengths out. You've got like 2 steps. Nermin calls it the first step and the second step, and you basically fish with 1 rod on the first step and 1 on the second step, right under your rod tips. Awesome fishing, because when you get a bite they absolutely roar off, just tear off, especially when you hook into a big fish. It's a great area here. It's just starting to rain. It's forecast to get quite heavy. So, right, this is this Platz? Yeah, this is Platz. This is lovely. This is a real sexy swim. I actually did hang on a minute, my hat's got stuck on turn this round. My hat's got stuck on some of the brambles and stuff. God, there's so many brambles and overgrown stuff. This is called Platz. I actually did a little segment on this last year in my vlogs, because you bivvy up back here, really nice and open here, and you've got loads of shade and loads of cover, and then you're just fishing under your rod tips down here to the left. And I think it gets its name, Platz, because in the olden days, the days of Mary and Joe, Platz means place. Is the same meaning in German as it is in English. So I think one or two of the carp anglers over the years might have a few stories to tell about it. It's not for me to say though. Right, the last swim on this bank is called the Platz, which is, where is it? Is it through there? No, it's here. Just through here. God, it's all overgrown. This is a lovely looking area, and this swim is the one that's done Mr. P recently. A lad called Andy had it out of here. Cool. It's tricky to set up in. There's the pads. Fish get right amongst those pads. I've taken a lot of nice scenics of this area on my trips, but the fish just love it. There's loads of pads all around here to the right, and just behind these reeds is a lovely safe area for the fish there. All under the rod tip stuff again. Sitting back, being nice and quiet. I tend to get a lot of lads doing just days in here, just with one rod, because just setting up in here is pretty tricky, because you can see there's no steps. So carp anglers being carp anglers, might get a few keenies in there doing sessions, but it's mostly a day only area with one rod, and I think that's what Andy was using when he caught Mr. P a few weeks ago. Okay, so that's the end of that bank, and we've got one swim on here at the end, which is next to the railway, which is the noisiest end. This is because you've not just got the road to the left, the railway, it is busy. One of those railways that's got warning things that, you know, like bleepings and thing that goes Achtung, Achtung, telling you to be careful of the railway, and it goes off all night, doesn't stop. Even last night where I was fishing, I could hear it from the other end of the lake. So imagine being at this end of the lake and hearing that right next to you. Warning, warning, the train. Right, there's a look down the lake. There you go. Just having to get used to this gimbal on this little camera that I'm using. There doesn't look to be as many pads down there to the right as there normally is. I think that's probably because the water level's up. It's normally chocker with pads down there, but that's a good view of the lake anyway. And you've just got one swim down here, which is called the number one, which I think I featured it in the vlog, not sure. There used to be a platform on here in this swim, and the first time I fished it I took some nice pictures of it, but they did away with the platform because it wasn't safe, and then they've dug a swim out, but at the moment it's underwater because the water level's really high. So I bet this is an area that's not getting fished much at all. I bet there's probably a lot of fish around this area because of this water being high. They're probably in close around here. Might be worth me having a fish down here later on in the week. We'll see. Oh, it does look nice under that tree. Okay, let's get out of here. There's that area for the train. It's like a crossing area, and in the middle of the night it goes off all the time as the trains go past, because there's quite a lot of train traffic during the night, and it's really loud. Achtung, Achtung! Okay. The next swim is where I caught papagayo last year from. You might remember that one from my vlogs. A fish called parrot, weighed 64. Bit of an awkward one to fish, this one, because it's high up on a really steep slope. You have to go for it. There you go. You can hear him now. It's not that loud at the minute. Achtung! Because it's during the day and there's a lot of other sounds going on, but in the middle of the night that is really loud. Yeah, this is where I caught papagayo from last year. Bivvied up in here. Looks a little bit mucky at the minute though. All that waste paper. Ugh. And then all you're doing is fishing down this embankment, which is really slippy at the minute because it's just rained, and well, it's still raining now. And this area does get left alone a lot, so you do see a lot of fish down here. Normally you see them topping in this area, but you've got to see this path is very, very steep and very, very difficult. That's a look at the old lake. But you've got a few clear areas out here to the right. I bet there's carp all the way down this margin here. Bet you, any money. Because the water level's up now and you can't obviously fish round to the right there, so that'll be a nice little bit of a safe haven for the fish. But you can see there's weed all around here. It's nice and deep out in the middle, and then you've got this shelf where it comes up, and the key is to just fish on the back of the weed. I think I might have just seen a fish actually over a deep area around there to the left. See if I can zoom in. You might just be able to see the rings coming up. You've got all this margin round to the left as well, just off these reeds. There's a few clear areas out there. You often see the fish coming in to the weed on a nice sunny day. They're always up and down this margin. It's a great area. A great swim, but you can see how steep it is. Look at it. It really ain't comfortable. There's some right up there. Can't have to clean my shoes there because a lot of mud on them from that steep bank. It's a good old walk around this lake. It's only about, I don't know, 10, 15 acres, something like that. But what makes the fishing tricky is not just the number of features, but the number of anglers, because these fish do get pressured. I know it's quiet at the minute, but that's because it's that time of the year. Right, this is called the pump swim because you've obviously got a pump, and it is a little bit overgrown. Another one of those areas. You do get a lot of people fishing out the same swims on this lake, I noticed that. But this one is an awkward one, especially with the water level up, because you've got to put your bivvy in here, and then your rods go down here. There was a time where this split into two. There was an area around there to the left. I remember fishing down there once, and somebody was fishing down here to the right. But with the water level high like it is now, this is where you have your rods, and the fish getting right close down here. I just put my goggles on, see if I can see anything. They're getting right close down here under these trees. Can't see anything at the minute, but I have actually been bivvied up under these trees before. But now obviously with all this water you can't get in there. Good area though, very good area. I think this is where Nermin caught Mary from as well. I think he had Mary out of it. I think he had Mary twice, and this is one of the swims where he had it from, and I think it's where he caught it its best, heaviest weight as well. So, legendary swim. feet are soaked. Sexy legs. Got the new shorts on from Avid. Bit of a plug for you there. These are out now. Available in all Avid Carp stockists. Nice and cool. We have a habit, Avid do, since I've joined the brand about 7 or 8 years ago, bringing out shorts that are quite thick and heavy and too warm for the summer, but these are absolutely perfect. Right, this next area is called the Clubhouse, or the Clubhouse Bank, because there's a clubhouse on here and it gives you access to quite a few different swims. I think it's about 5 or 6 different areas down here. Oh, absolutely lovely. Great areas. A bit of a trek to set up down these steps, but really good area because the carp just love it along this margin. There's a sunken tree down here, but you can't see it at the minute because it's all underwater, but I think it's out here somewhere. Looking good, looking nice. I think there's one more swim over here and all. A nice big shallow plateau out there, and you put a drone up, you'll just see fish cruising along it, but most of them tend to be small ones, although I do know that Mr. P's been caught out of here from the Clubhouse Bay. Don't know exactly where, but I heard it was around there to the left. But this is a good area. If you want bites, definitely worth a shout. Right, let's head to the right down Clubhouse Bay because that is a good area. So we head right, and the sun's just come out, making it perfect. Oh, it might be a bit muddy going down here actually. No, it's all underwater. That's why. I ain't got my boots on, so I don't look like I'm going to be able to show you the swims down here. Or can I? Let me put my glasses on. There's one of them fallen trees. You can see there, look at it. I bet you get carp cruising around this area. Cool, it looks lovely. Yeah, I could probably get down here to the right. I made it. This is a nice area because you bivvy up back here. You've got shade all day. All in here. God, that's lovely. And then you fish out here. But all that water to the right there, round here, that takes you round at the pump, and that just doesn't get fished. Looks nice and clear down here actually, like the fish have been clearing it. God, it's a lovely looking water, isn't it? Sure you agree? It is a lovely looking place, especially when there's nobody on here apart from me. Right, let's get back. Let me show you the last swim on the lake, which is where I'm bivvied up, which is in the U. Just going to do a night in there, see if we can get anything. God, the water's right up here at the back of this little bay. I bet there's carp right in here. You can actually see a bit of coloured water down there. The eyes aren't good enough though to see whether it's carp or not, but I bet it is. You know what carp are like when the water's up. They investigate the new areas, new food, new smells, new interesting things to look at. Looks nice around that area. Tell you what, it'd be a nice area to put a swim in actually, in the bay there. That is a full walk round. Just got one swim left, which is the one that I'm set up in. Nice area. I think it has appeared in my vlogs before, this one. I think I did catch a £30 common out of here. But you've got loads of water round to the right. Nice little swim here. And then got my car not too far away as well. You've also got this little area around here to the left where that's the main feature, all that weed. But obviously you've got a family of coots at the moment doing the rounds, so let's hope they don't pick me up but it's a nice area because the carp do get into this corner around here to the left. You know, over the years, Nermin's caught some really big fish out this corner. He's had black spot out of here. He's also had the doctor fish out of here. So they do get in here, the big fish do. So it's a good area. But anyway, that concludes my little walk round Mary and Joe Pool. Hope you enjoyed it. Gives you a bit of an insight into it. Wish there was a few anglers down here for me to talk to, but they're not here today, which is not a bad thing. It's nice to have the lakes yourself. There was a couple of guys here last night, but they've both left really early, and I've just found out that one of them wasn't Nermin's brother, Emir. It was probably Chris Ackermann's, because Nermin's brother tends to come here for longer periods because he lives out the area, and Chris Ackermann's just lives locally, and Chris has caught all the fish in here. He's a really successful angler on this lake, really good angler as well. And yeah, so there you go. That's a look at Mary and Joe Pool. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully I shall see you again real soon.